We're waiting for David. David's coming. All right. You want to make a comment in the beginning? Okay. Just going to go by this order right here. And this one, this is the, you're going to say that, right? So you're going to do that separate? morning. I'm Councilman Squilla, Chairman of the Committee of Streets and Services. A quorum of the committee is present. To my left, we have Councilman Tannenberger. To my left, Councilman Greenlee, and to my right, Councilman Nell. A quorum in the committee being present, we'll now begin the hearing. Mr. McConaughey, please read the title of the first bill.
Bill number 160008, an ordinance amending Title 12 of the Philadelphia Code entitled Traffic Code to provide requirements regarding the safe operation of self-propelled mobility devices and to provide for enforcement and penalties, all under certain terms and conditions.
I can just say something real quick.
Thank you. Before we start, Councilman Greenlee.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just quickly, I put this bill in because I think we've all heard about the plethora of accidents and injuries caused by this sort of new phenomenon of hoverboards. And today, we're going to put in written testimony from Dr. Theodore Christopher, who's the chairman of the Department of Emergency Medicine at Temple University Hospital. I won't read the whole thing, obviously, but I just want to read two quick sentences that kind of puts it in perspective. Quote, in my emergency department alone at Jefferson, one day after the holidays, we sent 7 patients with fractured hands, wrists, and arms to see one of our hand surgeons, Dr. Michael Rivlin. He called it a hoverboard epidemic. And I think it's our responsibility, particularly as this bill does, to protect children against what very well could be serious injury. So I respectfully ask the committee to move this forward. And we have a couple of amendments to make it consistent with state law and make enforcement clear. So with that, Mr. Chairman, thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Greenlee. It looks like we have, I guess, Captain Healy and Theodore Christopher. Please come.
That's written testimony.
Oh, it's written. Okay, thank you. Captain Healy, please proceed. Just state your name for the record and then proceed with your testimony.
Good morning, Councilman Squilla and other members of the Committee on Streets and Services. My name is Captain Francis Healy. I'm Special Advisor to Commissioner Ross, and I'm here to testify here on his behalf. First, the Commissioner would like me to extend his gratitude for allowing the Police Department First, the Commissioner would like to extend his gratitude for allowing the Police Department to present testimony on Bill number 160008, which will require children under 12 years of age to wear a helmet and protective padding while using hoverboards. It is the Police Department's understanding that the impetus behind this bill has been the rash of fall-type injuries to children as a result of the recent proliferation of hoverboards. The safety of our children and other vulnerable populations is always a priority of the Philadelphia Police Department. So the department applauds the efforts of Councilman Greenlee authorizing and introducing this legislation to better protect our children. So just as the police department supports safety precautions for children riding bicycles, the police department is happy to support the intent behind bill number 160008. While the department has a role in enforcing this ordinance, our hope is that this bill will serve as a public awareness vehicle, especially for parents of smaller children, to make sure the children permitted to use hoverboards are properly prepared for the inevitable falls. Falls will happen, but using safety equipment such as helmets, knee pads, elbow pads, and wrist guards will minimize the risk to children. This is a common sense requirement. The police department welcomes this bill, and I hope it will move parents to take the appropriate steps to protect their children. Finally, I would add that the technical amendments to this bill have been drafted by the technical staff and the law department, and I would ask that these agreed to amendments be adopted in order to facilitate the appropriate enforcement and harmonize with the bill with the existing state law. This concludes my testimony. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Are there any questions? Seeing none, is there anyone else here to testify on bill number 160008? Seeing none, before we move forward, I'd just like to note that we have a letter from the Professor of Pediatrics, Emergency Medicine, the Sidney Kimmel Medical College at Thomas Jefferson University, that strongly urges City Council to approve this legislation and gives reasons why, if it can protect one person from crippling injury, this legislation is worthwhile. So we'll add that also to the record. Mr. McMonagle, please read the title of the next bill.
May I be excused? Thank you.
Bill number 160014, an ordinance authorizing the striking from City Plan number 42S and the abandonment of a right-of-way reserved for drainage purposes, water main purposes, and public utility purposes which extends from the southerly terminus of Galloway Street south to Packer Avenue, southwardly to Patterson Avenue under certain terms and conditions.
Thank you for being here. Please just state your name for the record and then proceed with your testimonies. If you both could testify, and then we'll have any questions after you're complete.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee. My name is Thomas Marrow, City Plans Officer for the Department of Streets, and the Department of Streets would like to offer the following testimony on Bill number 160014. This is not an administration ordinance, but an ordinance requested by Ms. Amanda Davis of the Philadelphia Industrial Development Corporation. The purpose of this ordinance is to authorize the striking from city plan and abandonment of a right-of-way reserved for drainage purposes, water main purposes, and public utility purposes, which extends from the southerly terminus of Galloway Street, south of Packer Avenue, southwardly to Patterson Avenue. The utilities within this right-of-way are no longer essential and will be either abandoned or relocated. The purpose of this action is to clear the land area of encumbrances to facilitate marketing and redevelopment of the surrounding property. This ordinance is supported by the Department of Streets and is recommended to your committee for favorable action.
Good morning, Chairman Squilla and members of Streets and Services Committee. I'm Sarah Chu, City Planner with the Philadelphia City Planning Commission. I'm here to testify on Bill number 160014. Bill number 160014 is to strike and abandon a right-of-way reserved for drainage and other public utilities that extended from the current terminus of Galloway Street from Packer Avenue to Patterson Avenue. The purpose is to consolidate parcels to facilitate redevelopment at the food distribution center. The bill is identical to Bill number 120277, which was recommended for approval on May 15, 2012 by the City Planning Commission. The City Planning Commission is scheduled to consider this bill number 160014 this afternoon and recommended for approval.
Thank you. Are there any questions? Councilman Tannenberg.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The only question I have is your closest neighbor to this would be the food distribution center?
This is the site of the former site of the food distribution center.
Oh, the former site?
Yes.
All right, then what is your closest neighbor that has an establishment of any sort?
I'm not certain, sir.
I think it's Preferred Freezer. Is it Preferred Freezer down there?
I'm not certain, sir. All the surrounding property was part of the food distribution center site.
It's all industrial.
Well, no, that wasn't my, I just wanted to know for geographic purposes, not for any purpose other than that.
Good morning, Councilman. My name is Tom Stalfo. I'm with the Philadelphia Industrial Development Corporation. And to answer your question, Councilman, this is the former food distribution center property. The nearest properties, there's a total of 3 other parcels that comprise the block. All the drainage that would be abandoned in this right-of-way would be picked up in the storm lines that are in 3rd Street and in Lawrence Street. So this is a redundant piece of infrastructure.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Are there any other questions? Is there anyone else here to testify on Bill number 160014? Seeing none, thank you for your testimony. Mr. McBonicle, please read the title of the next bill.
Bill number 160017, an ordinance authorizing the striking from City Plan number 27S and abandonment of a right-of-way reserved for drainage purposes within the lines of the former Jackson Street from Swanson Street to Vidalia Street under certain terms and conditions.
Before you proceed, I'd just like to recognize Councilman Johnson for the record is present. Please proceed.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee. My name is Thomas Marrow, City Plans Officer for the Department of Streets, and the Department of Streets would like to offer the following testimony on Bill number 160017. This is not an administration ordinance, but an ordinance requested by Mr. Thomas Witt of Cozen O'Connor on behalf of Intellex Incorporated. The purpose of this ordinance is to authorize the striking from city plan and abandoning of a right-of-way reserved for drainage purposes within the lines of former Jackson Street from Swanson Street to Vandalia Street. The right-of-way proposed to be stricken does not contain any active drainage facilities, and the Water Department has indicated that there is no objection to its abandonment. The purpose of this action is to clear land area to allow the property owner to construct new facilities and expand its existing chemical and manufacturing business. This ordinance is supported by the Department of Streets and is recommended to your committee for favorable action.
Good morning, Chairman Squilla and members of Streets Services Committee. I'm Sarah Chu. I'm here to testify on Bill number 160017. Bill number 160017 is to strike and abandon a right-of-way reserved for drainage and other utilities that extended from the current terminus of former Jackson Street from Swanson Street to Vandalia Street. The purpose of this action is to remove the right-of-way as impediment to expanding the existing manufactured business. The City Planning Commission is scheduled to consider this bill number 160017 this afternoon and recommend for approval.
Thank you. Are there any questions on this bill? Seeing none, is there anyone else here to testify on bill number 160017? Please proceed. Just state your name for the record, speak into the microphone, and then proceed with your testimony.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee. My name is Ted Larkamp, and I'm the Director of Manufacturing at Innolex, located at 2101 South Swanson Street. We are grateful for the opportunity to appear before you today and ask for your support for Bill number 160017, which will authorize the Streets Department to strike from the city plan the drainage right-of-way in the bed of former Jackson Street. Innolex is a leader in green chemistry and a hometown Philadelphia industrial employer. The site is operated and employed since 1892. Innolex hopes to expand its facility at this location, and the drainage right-of-way, which is unused, is in the way of our expansion. Your support for this bill will help us proceed with an expansion which will provide construction jobs and maintain good-paying permanent industrial jobs. It will help to build up the tax base and the economy of Philadelphia. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
Thank you, Ted, and I want to say, as living close by Innolex, we look forward to continued relationship with the community and Innolex and moving forward and the growth of your business. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Is there any questions? Seeing none, is there any other testimony on Bill 160017? Seeing none, thank you all for your testimony. Mr. McMonagle, please read the title of the next bill.
Bill number 160071, an ordinance authorizing Roland Cassis, owner, to install, own, and maintain an open-air sidewalk cafe at 1204 Frankfurt Avenue, Philadelphia, PA 19125, under certain terms and conditions.
Please state your name for the record, then proceed with your testimonies.
Good morning, Chairman Squilla, members of the Streets and Services Committee. My name is St. Martin Torrance, and I'm the Director of Legislative Affairs for the Department of Streets. I'm here to offer testimony on Bill number 160071. This bill authorizes Roland Cassis, owner, to install, own, and maintain an open-air sidewalk cafe at 1204 Frankfurt Avenue, Philadelphia, PA 19125, as follows. A sidewalk cafe along with building line of 1204 Frankfurt Avenue consisting of 10 tables to accommodate 20 occupants from a point approximately 18 feet 9 inches north of the south property line of 1204 Frankfurt Avenue, extending approximately 30 feet 2 inches farther north and extending 4 feet into the west footway of Frankfurt Avenue with 7 feet 8 inches of clear walkable space remaining with 3 6-foot 2-inch pinch points at existing bollards. No rails are proposed. The Streets Department has no objections to this encroachment. Thank you for your time. This concludes my testimony.
Good morning, Chairman Squilla and members of Streets and Services Committee. I'm Sarah Chu, City Planner with the Philadelphia City Planning Commission. I'm here to testify on Bill number 160071, which was introduced by Councilmember Greenlee for Council President Clark on January 28, 2016. Bill number 160071 authorized an open-air sidewalk cafe at 1204 Frankfurt Avenue. A total of 5 tables and 10 chairs will be located on the west footway of Frankfurt Avenue, encroaching 4 feet onto the sidewalk, leaving 6 foot 2 inches walking zone space to the existing bollards along the curb. Frankfurt Avenue is classified as a city neighborhood street, which requires 6 feet and unobstructed walkway for pedestrians. So this proposal meets the minimum requirements. The Planning Commission is scheduled to consider this bill number 160071 this afternoon and to recommend for approval. This concludes my testimony. I appreciate your opportunity to testify before you today and be pleased to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. Councilman Tannenberger.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just give me a sense of what the block is like. Are there other restaurants there, or other businesses, and if so, who are they, if you know?
I think this is a former flower shop, and then the adjacent property has restaurant business as well.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it's a
mixed-use commercial.
It'll fit in rather nicely.
Yeah.
as I see it. Okay. Mr. Chairman, that's all.
Thank you. Is there any other questions on Bill number 160071? Seeing none, is there any other testimony on this bill? Seeing none, Mr. McGonigal, please read the title of the next bill.
Bill number 160011, an ordinance establishing a no truck parking regulation on both sides of Tarsdale Avenue, from Linden Avenue to Ashburner Street, and both sides of Megaree Street, from Tarsdale Avenue to Frankfurt Avenue.
Thank you. Just state your name for the record and then proceed with your testimony on the bills.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee. Thank you for the opportunity to appear before you today. My name is Nick Sinsurik, District Traffic Engineer for the Department of Streets. I am here today to offer testimony on Bill number 160011. The regulation was posted on February 5th, 2016 as a trial. We have not received any complaints or concerns from the residents. As such, the Department of Streets has no objections to this bill. Thank you for the opportunity to appear before you today. I will be happy to answer any questions you may have at this time.
Thank you. Any questions? Seeing none, anyone else here to testify on Bill number 160011? Seeing none, Mr. McGonigal, please read the title of the next bill.
Bill number 160092, an ordinance establishing a no truck parking regulation on both sides of Tarsdale Avenue, from Ashburner Street to Pennypack Creek.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee. Thank you for the opportunity to appear before you today. My name is Nick Sinsurik, District Traffic Engineer for the Department of Streets. I am here today to offer testimony on Bill number 160092. The Department of Streets has no objections to this bill. We can have the signs for this regulation posted within 30 days. Thank you for the opportunity to appear before you today. I would be happy to answer any questions you may have at this time.
Thank you. Any questions? Seeing none, anyone else here to testify on Bill number 160092? Seeing none, Mr. McGonigal, please read the title of the next bill.
Bill number 160093, an ordinance establishing a no tractor trailer truck parking regulation on both sides of Tarsdale Avenue, from Ron Street to Pennypack Creek.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee. Thank you for the opportunity to appear before you today. My name is Nick Sinsurik, District Traffic Engineer for the Department of Streets. I am here today to offer testimony on Bill number 160093. The Department of Streets has no objections to this bill. We can have the signs for this regulation posted within 30 days. Thank you for the opportunity to appear before you today. I would be happy to answer any questions you may have at this time.
Thank you. Any questions? Seeing none, any other testimony on Bill number 160093? Seeing none. Thank you for your testimony. Mr. McGonigal, please read the title of the next bill.
Bill number 160007, an ordinance repealing an ordinance, Bill number 150894, entitled An Ordinance Authorizing the Striking from the City Plan number 119 and abandoning of a certain pedestrian walkway reserved within the bed of former Thompson Street from Watch Street to 13th Street, and the modifying of a certain right-of-way for drainage purposes, water main purposes, gas main purposes, and public utility purposes, also reserved within the bed of said former Thompson Street, by abandoning the right-of-way as the water main purpose, gas main purpose, and public utility purposes, but retaining the said right-of-way on the city plan as a right-of-way for drainage purposes only, under certain terms and conditions.
Thank you. Is there anyone here to testify on Bill number 160007? Seeing none.
Mr. Chairman.
Councilman Greenlee?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just for the record, I introduced this for the council president. This is an issue that he's been working on for quite a while. There's some issues have arisen out of this. Is the old William Penn High School site. So this bill was just introduced. The council president would like it moved out of committee, and then there will be no suspension, and he'll decide how far he wants to move it after that.
Thank you. Thank you very much. That concludes the hearing on the Committee of Streets and Services. We'll now go into a public meeting. I'd like to recognize Councilman Greenlee to read the titles of the First Amendment.
No suspension.
We'll do the amendment first.
All right, yeah, okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move the adoption to the amendment introduced to Bill number 160008.
Second. Has been amended. Bill number 160008 has been amended. And second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Bill number 160008 has been amended. Councilman Greenlee?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move that the following bills be reported out as committee with a favorable recommendation and the rules of council be suspended to allow for first reading at our next session of council. Bill numbers 160008 as amended, 160014, 160017, 160071, 160011, 160092, and 160093.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. All bills currently read in have been approved. Councilman Greenlee?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move that Bill number 160007 be reported out as committee with a favorable recommendation.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Bill number 160007 has been approved without the suspension. Thank you. That will complete our meeting. Have a great day.